In this video, we're going to go through some other examples showing how the backend works. So in this example, we are looking at the BBC website and we're checking how the BBC website will show us results corresponding to a certain keyword. So I'm looking here for all articles corresponding to the keyword Safari, and you can see here that the website is showing results corresponding to the keyword Safari. So it's showing articles with a title containing Safari or a content containing the word Safari. So this is the URL which is sent by the user from the front end. So by the way, this URL is generated once you click on the search button, and it's going to be included in the request sent to the server. So once our app in the server receives this request, it's going to communicate with the database by running a query. So it's looking for all rows in the articles table with a title or body including the word Safari. So examples will include articles like that one or that one. So you've got Safari in the title or inside the content. So once we find those results, then the database is going to send them back to the app, and then the app is going to build the search result webpage and send it back to the user. Now let's have a look at another example, and that's the pixabay.com website. This website allows you to search for images corresponding to a certain keyword. You can also look for videos if you like, or specific types of images if you want to. So here you can see the search results corresponding to the keyword C. So let's understand how this works. So at the front end, the browser will send a request using the URL, which is going to be received by the app. Then the app is going to break down this request and get the keyword from the URL, and then it's going to communicate with the database through a query. So the query here is going to be selecting all the rows with tags, including the word C. And by the way, it looks also for related keywords like ocean, beach, water, sunset, and nature. So here is our pictures table inside Pixabay. So this table is inside this database, and we're looking for rows matching this query. So here we go. We've got a row there containing the words sea and ocean, and we've got another row there containing the word sunset, which is a related keyword to sea. So once the database finds all the results, it's going to send them back to the app, and then the app is going to build this HTML web page and send this back to the user, and finally the browser is going to display this web page to the user. Now one more example. Let's suppose that a user is trying to sign in to their iCloud account. So they provide their email address and password, and a request is sent to the server. Now once our app receives the request, it's going to process the request and retrieve that email and password. Then, using those details, it's going to communicate with the database and execute a query. Now the query is going to look for all records inside the user's table matching the information provided by the user. And that's supposed to be their email and their password. Now you just need to note that passwords are not stored in a table in plain text. They are stored in a hashed format, meaning that when the user signs up, we take their email address and their password, but we store the password as a hashed value. Hashing a password means that instead of storing the password itself, you apply a complicated formula to the password, and then you store the output of that formula in the database. Now that formula is so complicated that it is almost impossible to retrieve the real password if you get the hashed value. And that's the whole reason of using hashing. Basically, you are doing this just in case the database gets compromised and somebody finds details of your users. So in that case, even if they find the hashed passwords, they are not going to be able to log in to any user's account because they need the real passwords, not the hashed values. Alright, so once our query is executed, if a user is found, then we are going to log our user in, and then we will show them details about their accounts. Now that you are comfortable with how the backend works, let's have a quick review before we move on. So we said that the front end represents our client or their browser, and that's where the requests come from. So a request could be sent through a URL to the app which is located on our server. Now once the app receives the request, it's going to process it, and then it's going to decide whether it needs data to be retrieved from a database. Now in that case, it's going to send a query to the database, and once that query is executed, the database will send a response to the app. And then the app is going to process that response, and then it's going to do whatever it needs to do with that response. It could be creating a web page, it could be anything else. So let's say it is creating a web page. All it needs to do now is send the web page as a response to the browser, and then the browser is going to render the web page for our user. So that's how it works. Now we need to learn how to build this app, and that's going to be the focus in the coming videos. So there are plenty of technologies you can use to build server-side apps or apps hosted on a server. The technology or platform we're going to use in this course is going to be Node.js. So in the next video, you're going to get introduced to Node.js and start building up using this powerful platform.